So your husband's angry. Now what? Like, what do you do? Like, how do you bridge that gap? How do you actually step into the role of being a wife while still dealing with the fact that your husband's angry and you've got like dinner to cook, you've got things to do, you're trying to run a business, you're trying to do everything, and you're having to deal with the spouses just come in and they're angry and you're going, what am I going to do? So if you want to stick around for this video for the next couple of minutes, I'm going to just step you through a process, 7 steps on how you can actually go and support your husband who's going through a situation where there might be anger, where there might be frustrations, how you can actually overcome the situations and actually take it from being really unpleasant and actually turn into something really amazing, really useful, really good. So here's the thing, we're going to look at seven areas, right? The first thing I'm going to say to you is be a friend. Number 1, be a friend to your husband. Be a friend, be there, help them, encourage them, and say, hey, what is going on? What are you what is it that you need? What is it that you're going through? Because at the end of the day, you are not your husband's mother, and it's so easy to step into the role of trying to mother them or try to like, okay, I'm going to solve your problems, I'm going to fix it. They don't actually need that. Your husband actually needs you to actually be a friend to them. Like, come to them from a place of, how can I help? How can I understand the situation? How can I go from there, right? Second thing is appreciate them. Appreciate them. Just pour love into them and say, you know what, I appreciate all that you do, all that you're going through, all that you're doing for us. Start appreciate them, because that will help them actually go through the situation, diffuse the situation, and actually just help them process through their anger. Number 3, give space. Give space and don't force the issue. Give them the process, the space to actually work through any emotions, work through what they're going through, work through what they're trying to figure out. Give them space. And that leads on to the 4th one. Give them time, right? So if you're going to give your husband space, also give them time to resolve the situation. The situation might be resolved in 5 to 10 minutes. It might take a week. It might take even longer. It depends on what the reason is that they're angry, so that they can actually work through. But you have to give an allowance for time, an allowance for space, allowance for that emotions to be processed. Not saying that you should tolerate disrespect. We're not doing that. This is just how you can help your spouse who is actually going through a difficult situation, who is dealing with anger, who is going through a situation that is frustrating them. So for example, you know, that they're fighting with their siblings, or they're fighting with their parents, or there's conflict at work, or they're fighting with a client, you know, if they're an entrepreneur, right? Like you are, and they're fighting with their clients, or, you know, just stuff is frustrating them and they've got this like frustrating situation. So how do you actually just help your spouse, your husband through that, right? So you need the space, and then hold them responsible. Don't try and sort out the problem for them. Hold them responsible. That is their problem, right? So when you try and step in and go, okay, well, I'll sort it out for you, you are not holding them responsible, which means they can never actually process that. They can never actually accommodate that and figure it out. And then then you're not being the friend in the first one, you're actually becoming a mother, okay? Especially from a wife's standpoint, it's so easy to go, oh my gosh, my husband, because the same things like with the kids, they need this. You're just like, oh my gosh, what do I do? How do I help them? How do I, go navigate through this? It's so easy to try and just help them through the situation, but let your spouse take responsibility for the situation, take responsibility for their part, take responsibility for what the situation actually is. And then number 6, with that, and before we go to number 7, number 6, never withhold, okay? And ladies, you know what I'm talking about when I say never withhold, right? So I don't need to say the word, okay? But don't actually withhold. Come to your partner with love. Come to them as a friend. Come to them and appreciate them. Give them space. Give them time. Let them take ownership, but don't withhold. Don't give another form of ammunition, because now the problem that they initially had, you've now just added to that problem. You just added more stress. You've just added more complication in their lives that they don't actually need right now, because now they have to deal with the fact that not only have they to deal with a situation that is causing them angst, it's causing them anxiety, it's causing them stress, it's causing them anger. Now they have to deal with the fact that the spouse is also punishing them at the same time for having these emotions, for trying to process this emotion, for trying to figure it out. They are now being punished for that. So what happens is your husband then learns that I cannot come to you with my emotions. I cannot come to you with my feelings, because it is going to be used as a weapon. Because here's the thing. Nobody likes a friend that when you come to them with what's going on in your life, what you're trying to solve, what you're trying to like process through. Nobody likes that friend that's going to take that information and like 10, 20 minutes down the line, or maybe a week down the line, or maybe a month down the line, maybe a year down the line, use that against your ammunition. And what you're doing as a wife, when you're withholding, you're using what your husband has just come to you in confidence, and you are using it as ammunition because it wasn't solved in your way, in your time, in your manner. And that is not what you want. You don't want to have that in your relationship, so don't withhold, okay? And as a wife, make sure that his needs are met. Like, help him show him love. Make sure that his love language needs are met, not just your ongoing, hey, how am I showing my husband right now love? How am I showing him appreciation? Am I actually taking care of his needs and making sure that he is actually, going through this, knowing that it's okay. I know the situation is difficult. I know that you're stressing. I know that you're trying to figure this all out, but I love you. I'm here for you. I'm supporting you. And stand in the line and pray. Pray for your spouse. Pray and surrender. Hand it over to God and let God lead and guide you in this time. Let God lead and guide you. And say, God, my husband's going through a difficult time. I'm coming to you, God, and I'm just praying. I'm standing and I'm interceding for my husband because I know you are high above it all, God. And go and hand it over to God. Let God give you the guidance. Let God show you the path that you need to take, because you will get the answers that way, right? But I'm just gonna go over the 7 steps again. Be a friend. Appreciate him. Give him space. Give him time. Hold him responsible as well. Never withhold. And then support. Just make sure that his needs are met. And I'm going to go through this also from a husband's standpoint, what a husbands can do. So this is not just about all the wives. In my next video, I will do, so you want to come back for part 2 on this one. I'm going to go on how husbands can also stand in for their wives, especially when they're dealing with anger, when they're dealing with situations that's frustrating, that can turn volatile if not kept in check. But if you stand and support and just help your spouse through the situation, you're going to see things change in your relationship, because you're giving them the space, you're giving them the freedom, you're giving them the support, saying, hey, I'm here with you, I'm doing life with you, we've got a covenant together, and we're doing life together, and I'm going to help you and support you grow through this situation. Because not all anger is bad, and anger is just a sign that's saying, hey, something needs attention, something needs look at. It is when anger gets explosive and doesn't get checked and doesn't get looked at and doesn't get process that we have problems. So this is you helping your husband process through that, so they can actually solve the anger and actually process and become a fulfilling husband for you. So hopefully this makes sense. And if you're new here, click the like, comment, subscribe, whatever it is, right? Just click that, and I will see you in part 2.